Deb is wrapping up another Around Kansas season as she looks forward to 2021. Next is all about the beauty of frost. On the front porch, KFRM's Rocky Downey is visiting with Nashville artist Gabe Walsh. Ron Wilson is back with another poem, and we end with a little Kansas goodness with our good friend Michelle Martin.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Good morning, I'm Deb Goodrich. Welcome to Around Kansas. And here we are saying goodbye to 2020. This is the last show of the year. And I'm grateful that this year is ending, but I'm also grateful for the people who helped us get through it. And I want to give a shout out to all the people at Around Kansas that make this show happen. There's Heather and Kelly and Charlotte and Elizabeth that are back in the office in Topeka. And then our contributors, and we of course depend a lot on Nick Apt, God bless him, with his incredible videos around the state. And of course our dear friend Dave Kendall, who has brought us so many pieces of the Santa Fe Trail this year, and what incredible work he has done and continues to do to champion the Flint Hills and the beauty and history and geography and geology and all those things all over the state of Kansas. Dave is a treasure and has been for a long, long time. And then, of course, my friend Michelle Martin, and I'm so thrilled that Michelle can be with us every week. Her knowledge and passion for history and her beautiful jewelry just make the day sparkle, don't they? And I'm just so grateful that she wanted to be a part of the show and brings us such terrific segments each week. And of course, many times she brings along her former boss, Bill Curtis. And Bill is another Kansas treasure, and we are so grateful that he is able to contribute to Around Kansas every now and then. And his distinctive voice is just one of those constants in Kansas, isn't it? We're just so blessed to have him as part of the show, and we appreciate Bill's taking the time to participate and make Michelle's stories just a little bit richer. And Bill is also a fan of the show. So hello, Bill in Chicago. We hope the Windy City is treating you well. And remember, you've always got a home in Kansas to come back to. So we would welcome you back with open arms. Maybe even co-host duties. How about that, Bill? How would you like to be co-host of Around Kansas? Maybe you and Michelle and I could actually, wow, that's something we can work on, isn't it? Look for that in the new year. We'll work on that one. So here's hoping that you have a blessed 2021. My goodness, aren't we ready to say goodbye to 2020? It's been such a challenging year. And I am grateful, most of all, to you, our viewers, for tuning in and for taping us or watching on YouTube or Facebook or Real TV, wherever you find Around Kansas. We thank you for tuning in and for reaching out. Thank you so much. I got a call from San Diego the other day. How cool is that? From an expat who lives in San Diego, grew up in Kansas, and stays in touch with the state through our show. And that just tickles me to pieces. And then, of course, we have all the people that share their photos with us on Facebook. You know, I get phone calls too. How do I get chosen to have a photo, cover photo on Around Kansas Facebook page? Well, just message those to us. I troll sites looking for fabulous photos, and my goodness, there's always so many to choose from. So many talented photographers out there, and so many talented artists that we get some really terrific images. So just send those to us on Facebook or Facebook Messenger, or share them on our Facebook page. Email me. just find a way to get in touch. But we really appreciate your sharing all those things with us, and really appreciate everything that went into today's show. So stay with us. We've got a terrific one for you.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org.
This segment brought to you by the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center in Oakley.
Often on our wildlife segments, we talk about the beauty of Kansas. We give you tours of the lakes and breaks and all the cool spots around Kansas. But you know, any spot, no matter how ordinary it looks, can be transformed by the snow or the frost. You know, we think about snowfall transforming landscapes, but frost can be pretty spectacular. So let's take a look at frost, what it is, how it happens, and how it transforms the most ordinary scene into something from a storybook. You know, we get pretty excited when the snow covers everything, and it has this way of just transforming the landscape, doesn't it? But frost can do the same thing, and there have been a few mornings here in western Kansas. I'm telling you folks, we have had some magnificent frost. So I thought I would turn to the folks at National Geographic who know everything. They just know everything. And find out, and this was such a simple explanation, such a great source to turn to, how frost forms and exactly what it is that can transform the lowliest, most ordinary weed into something really magnificent.
Frost is water vapor, or water in gas form that becomes solid. Frost usually forms on objects like cars, windows, and plants that are outside in air that is filled with moisture. Areas that have a lot of fog often have heavy frost. Frost forms when an outside surface cools past the dew point. The dew point is the point where the air gets so cold the water vapor in the atmosphere turns to liquid. This liquid freezes and makes frost. Frost is most common in low-lying areas. Warm air rises, cool air sinks. Cool air is denser than warm air. That means there are usually more water molecules in cool air than in warm air. As cool air collects in valleys, frost forms. Frost usually forms at night when the air temperature is cooler. Once the sun rises and warms the air around the frosted object, the frost melts pretty quickly. There are different types of frost. The most common are radiation frost, also called hoar frost, H-O-A-R frost, advection frost, window frost, and rime. Radiation frost is in the form of tiny ice crystals that usually shows up on the ground or exposed objects outside. Hoarfrost also forms in refrigerators and freezers. Advection frost is a collection of small ice spikes. Advection frost forms when a cold wind blows over the branches of trees, poles, and other surfaces. Window frost forms when a glass window is exposed to cold air outside and moist air inside. Window frost is familiar to winter residents of cold climates. Indoor heat and cold outdoor temperatures form this type of frost. Window frost was much more common before people began using double-paned windows. Rime is frost that forms quickly, usually in very cold, wet climates. Rime also forms in windy weather. Rime sometimes looks like solid ice. Ships traveling through cold places, like the Arctic Ocean, often end up with rime covering at least a part of the exposed ship. Of course, farmers must be especially diligent of frost forecast. The impact on crops can be devastating, but if your crops aren't in danger, the fleeting beauty of the frost on the landscape is spectacular. Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an Ihop. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
This segment brought to you by Bob Schwartz Financial. Values, commitment, transparency.
Today on Around Kansas, we're going to visit with a Nashville recording artist, Gabe Walsh, who grew up in Blue Rapids, Kansas, with no thoughts of being a country music artist.
Music was never something I thought I would actually do for a living. Before high school, every kid, their dream is sports. That's all we did. Me and my friends played every sport you can think of. And eventually that stayed the same through high school. But once I got into college, that's when I really picked up a guitar and used I've always had a passion for music, but never to actually perform music, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's been an interesting journey in that regard.
Were you involved in band or anything during school? Or
I was.
Okay.
I was a trumpet player in high school.
Okay. But had not.
I never did the choir or anything like that.
Gotcha.
I was in band 4 years.
And so you had never played a guitar, or you fiddled around with one, or literally college was when you first picked it up?
College was the first time. One of my buddies, Lucas Brooks, I used to be in a duo with him back home, and he's been writing some songs and playing guitar, and I got into the idea. I was like, I want to do that, So I picked it up. I learned on YouTube.
Okay.
And I just started playing small town bars in Nebraska. I went to college at Wayne State College in northeast Nebraska. And eventually came home, played some shows, and I did that for a couple of years and decided in my last semester of college that I was going to move to Nashville after I graduated. So,
wow. Blue Rapids native and graduate of Valley Heights High School, and now Nashville recording artist based out of Nashville, Tennessee. Gabe Walsh on Around Kansas.
I'm Bob Schwartz, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob Schwartz Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob Schwartz Financial, values, commitment, and transparency.
This segment brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Let us help feed your family.
My wife and I have 4 children, of which 3 are triplets. So you can imagine that getting around in the morning, trying to get to church or school, having them cleaned and dressed up was an amazing proposition. And we had a terrible challenge getting anywhere on time. And today, as I look at young families, I think about balancing work and school, remote classes, online school. It must be a tremendous challenge for young families today. So I salute those young families. But we do have technology that we didn't have before. This poem is called Zooming to Church. When our kids were little, we had a family rule. When Sunday morning came, we went to church and Sunday school. But it took time to get them dressed. It seemed my common fate was hurrying them into the car because it seemed we were always late. Looking back, I might have said some words that God might not approve. To get those kids to hurry and to really make them move, I'd be sitting in the car, frustrated with the wait, and then be zooming down the road because we were always running late. Now our kids are grown, but Ma and I still go to church. Then the pandemic hit, and the church left us in the lurch. The church service canceled. We were told to stay at home, to shelter in place, and no longer to roam. But the church found a creative way to reach us all, you see. It's something that they call Zoom technology. You just sit at your computer, so it's online, I think. You can see the Sunday service. You just click on the Zoom link. It kind of makes me laugh. When I think on that again, we're still Zooming into church, but not the way we did back then. Happy trails.
Highways 40, 83, and I-70 come together right here in Oakley. Roads that lead to businesses, to magnificent rock formations, to scenic vistas, to places where legends were made. Roads that lead us home. Discover Oakley, the gateway to western Kansas.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Michelle, I was just telling folks how thrilled we are that you're with us every week, and you're looking gorgeous as ever. And I note that you have an incredible background through the magic of filmdom. Michelle is coming to us from the Fort Wallace Museum this morning. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, Deb. You are sparkling today as we head into the new year. Today, as we get ready to bid 2020 a much-needed farewell, I want to share with you my favorite things about Kansas that make it an amazing place. I could talk all day about the things I love about Kansas. As we bid 2020 farewell, I wanted to share some of my favorite things about Kansas that make it an amazing state. Kansas has a complex and fascinating history. From the history of Native nations and our immigrant communities to Bleeding Kansas, the Civil War, and the Dust Bowl, Kansas boasts one of the most deep-rooted and intriguing histories in the nation. Along with an incredible history, Kansas also boasts an amazing array of historic sites. From frontier military forts to territorial legislative halls, little houses on the prairie to yellow brick roads, from cattle towns to mining towns and places of natural wonder, Kansas historic sites connect us to the past. Kansas is more than a flyover or drive-through state. The Kansas landscape is as varied as the state's residents. There is something magical and spiritual about the Flint Hills. The wide open spaces of western Kansas fill me with awe and wonder. The rolling hills of southeast Kansas are like a warm embrace. Kansas sunrises and sunsets paint the skies with vibrant colors. Spring thunderstorms churn over the land, and nature's handiwork is seen everywhere in Kansas. Kansas small towns are a treasure. Main streets across Kansas are the lifeblood and heartbeat of the state. Complete with historic architecture and family-owned businesses, small towns in Kansas bring people together. Of all the things I love about Kansas, perhaps the most important is the people who call Kansas home. When I moved to Pittsburgh in 1997 and then to Fort Scott in 2000, the people I met and worked with became friends. Some are like family to me. No matter how far I have strayed away from Fort Scott, my Kansas friends are my greatest treasure. Ad astra per aspera, Kansas. I hope to be home to take in your majestic skies and see dear friends in the new year. I hope you enjoyed some Kansas goodness with me today. I want to wish Deb, our producer Heather, and all of you a very happy new year. I hope you'll join me next year for more historical adventures somewhere around Kansas.
So long, 2020. Farewell, don't let the door hit you on your way out. I'm Deb Goodrich, and I'll see you somewhere around Kansas in 2021.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for that grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, and we're glad to answer and work with you.